Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole. I'm a homeschooling mom with 2 kids at home. I have a daughter who's going into 6th grade, who's 10, and my son is going into his pre-K year and he's 4. Okay guys, today's video is going to be a couple of things. First, I'm going to go over everything we've been doing this summer versus what I thought we were going to be doing. I'm also going to talk to you about when I think I'm starting school, how that's going to work, and kind of our flow. So let's start with what we've been doing this summer. So we ended our school year at the end of April, beginning of May. I really like ending it then. I talked about this in our summer plans video. Just where I live is really hot come 4th of July. So I like to have a few months where it's not quite so hot, where we can enjoy the summer and come back inside and start school when it starts getting really hot outside. So I originally thought we were only going to be taking a couple weeks off in May, and then my daughter would start back with math, which is what we do. Normally, she does do math year round. I usually don't let her take more than a couple week break because she just backslides and has such a hard time getting back in the rhythm of it. Additionally, by me doing that means that we don't have to do math 5 days a week. Her math program is a 36-week, 5-day-a-week program. It gives me more flexibility during the week if we can't get to it on a day. So I do like doing that. But for this year, we literally took the whole month of May off. I was so burnt out. I was still recovering from the prehistory unit I had created and catching up on top of trying to put together her geography, which is the biome and culture study, getting that all ready, getting stuff ready for the homeschool year. I just didn't have it in me, and I knew she needed a break. But now I am being reminded why I never go that long, because it has been really hard for her to get back in it. We do use Primary Mathematics Standard Edition because I use it with Wisdom Wonder Project, which is a video subscription, which is amazing, guys. Highly recommend it. That's why I use this version, is because that's what they use. So she's still working through 5A. I was hoping that she'd be in 5B by the time we started the new year. She may be maybe 10 lessons behind. So she is very young for her age. She will be 10 going into 6th grade. So honestly, I use the term grades and 6th grade very loosely because she really is doing some 5th grade stuff, but she's also doing some 6th grade stuff. So I kind of just place her where she's at, and I put 6th grade because technically that's where she'd fall, but she could just as easily be going into 5th grade this year. So she's been getting back into that maybe 4 days a week. She doesn't necessarily have to do it on the weekdays. It can be weekends, and that's going well. She's getting back in the swing of things. It's just helping her. She is a kid that needs structure, and she was just kind of falling apart without that structure. And since we've added in math again, it's really helped her. So the only other thing that we've been doing is working on mindfulness. I really like to focus on that in the summer to build healthy habits when we don't have all these other things going, and everything else I had planned has gone to the wayside. So at least we're doing this. She's been working through her gratitude workbook from Let's Do School. I had found this and mentioned this in my curriculum picks. This is great. One thing I don't like is that you can't print it yourself. She does mail it to you, so she uses this binding clip that is kind of hard to change the pages, but she wasn't comfortable sending it in PDF, which I respect. She's a creator, that's her choice, but it's just different pages with different prompts to go over gratitude throughout. And my daughter really likes this. She's been going through this every day. On top of that, we will do our gratitude. My son has my very own gratitude journal. I showed this before. I'll show you just a clear page that he hasn't used. He'll just draw what he's grateful for that day. And I will get my dollar store notebook out, and I will do my gratitude writing, as well as my daughter also has a journal that she writes what she's grateful for, as well as doing the gratitude notebook. So we'll just sit there in the morning and do some gratitude work. And then for my daughter, we will read this book, Just Breathe, Meditation, Mindfulness, Movement, and More. This is by Malika Chopra, who is the daughter or granddaughter of Deepak Chopra. This book is so great. This talks to the student, talks to them why it's important to learn about mindfulness, to learn about breath work, to learn how to calm yourself, your nervous system, how to regulate. It's great. It just like gives her some instruction, talks to her on why she needs to learn it, gives her some activities on how she can do it. And it's made for the student to read themselves and to work on themselves. Obviously, we're doing this together, but she could easily do this on her own. I really like that. And for my son, we're working through this Mindful Games for Kids. This is for ages 4 to 8, 50 fun activities to stay present, improve concentration, and understand emotions. These are very simple, easy games that you really can incorporate outside. They're fun, and it's a great way to teach those early concepts of being mindful, being present, being in the moment, learning about your emotions so as you progress. So I've mentioned before, mental health is really important to me. And I feel like teaching our kids these tools at a young age is really going to help them in the long run. So something that I had planned on starting at the beginning of June was our prehistory unit. This is a 3-unit prehistory that I created for my daughter. She's starting ancients in 7th grade, and I wanted her as a middle schooler to have a good background on prehistory. So this does go from the creation of Earth through the present time. But I realized that I was actually going to put this at the tail end of the year because I want this fresh in her mind when she starts her ancient history. So I ended up moving that. And I just realized that even though I want to homeschool year round, that's going to look a little different. This year, we needed a big break. And we would have been starting the week of June 16th, but my husband surprised me with an anniversary trip with just the 2 of us, which I'm so excited for, definitely needed. So I'm pushing this off, and we're starting June 23rd. Now, how we're starting is we're going to keep doing math, and I'm going to bring in our geography and biome study. We are going to start that and just have those 2 things. And then I will probably either July 14th or maybe the week before, because now we have a trip July 14th. Around that time, we'll be starting school. We'll be adding more and more things into it. But for the first 2 or 3 weeks, will just be math and our geography and biome study to kind of slowly get us in it. The reason that I'm starting so soon is, one, I want to be able to do 4 days a week if I can. The 5th day is going to be our enrichment activities, logic, art, those other ones that I don't need to do 4 days a week. And so I'd like to keep it open. So by doing math, by getting a head start on our geography, which will really help that. Also, we take a lot of breaks. This year, we're having a break right in the middle of July. We're having another 2 weeks off at the end of August when we go to the ocean. We have 2 weeks off in October when my sister comes to visit from Switzerland. We're taking a couple weeks off at Christmas. We have a couple weeks off throughout 2026. So I want to be able to take those breaks and not stress out about it. And because my kids do thrive with structure, I figure this is going to be the best way to make that happen. And then I have more flexibility in getting this done and not feeling so rushed, because I think that was part of my problem this year, is that I just felt so rushed to get it done because I didn't account for having that flexibility. I also think that I will no longer be scheduling my vacations at the end of August, which is what I've been doing. It's just from Seattle where I was, that was when a lot of our vacations would happen, because truly the summers there don't start until the 4th of July, and it's a great mild summer. So I'm going to start doing my vacations earlier in the summer so that we're not starting school and then having to break. Another thing that I'm going to be changing is how I do history, geography, and science. So if you don't know, my mom comes here and teaches my daughter 3 days a week. She teaches her French and history. They spend maybe an hour and a half together. Not the whole time is done you doing instruction. They have a nice time hanging out together. But my mom does really enjoy that. So she takes care of the history aspect for now, at least for the next couple years. And so I don't have to worry about history. And so that's great for me. So I do 2 days of geography and I do 2 days of science with my daughter. Doing it this way allows me to have those 4 days a week. But something I noticed last year is doing a couple days of geography and then doing a couple days of science felt kind of disjointed. And there'd be some breaks between science and she might have forgotten something, and same with geography. So I decided I'm just scrapping it. And this year, what I'm going to be doing is, for example, when we do this unit, it's 63 lessons. We're just going to go straight through and do that 4 to 5 days a week. When we're doing our geography study, I think it's about 78 lessons. We'll just kind of go straight through that 4 or 5 days a week. And when we're doing our space science, which I think is maybe 25 or 30 lessons. We'll just start and just keep going until we're done. I had been thinking about it, and then the Little School of Smiths talked about how she's going to do a unit of history, just focus on that, and then a unit of science and just focus on that. And that really is a direction I think I'm going to go, so that we're just focusing on that one subject. So we'll have our core subjects that we'll do at the beginning of the morning time. And then after a break, we'll do what I consider our block, which will be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how far we go. If my daughter wants to watch all the optional videos I have, we'll just really spend some time on that block. And that block will either be geography or science. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really helpful. So then I'm thinking after we do our geography or science block, then we're going to break for lunch, have a little bit of break. My mom comes later in the afternoon when my son is sleeping and I'm working. And it works out perfect because, again, my daughter loves structure. She loves school. She loves spending time with my mom, and mom makes it really fun for her. And so she doesn't mind that. It gives me time to work where my son is sleeping and where my daughter is still being engaged. So I think that's really going to work out for us. So I am going to come out eventually with a schedule of how I'm going to incorporate it. I'm really trying to figure out how to incorporate my son in it. So I have an idea of what I want to accomplish each day. I just almost don't know if I'm comfortable like having a schedule and telling you about it, because I'm doing much more formal preschooling and school with him. So I don't know how that flow is going to go. So it might not be that I don't show you guys my schedule until after we've already been doing it. But honestly, by the time this video comes out, we may have already started school on June 23rd. So I may have an idea sooner rather than later. So those are just my ideas. If you guys have any suggestions on how your flow goes, on how you like to start the school year, any of those, I would love your feedback. I honestly get the best suggestions from you guys. It's so helpful. So I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If not, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.